Space, the final frontier.
I'm Jeff. I'm with STARFLEET, the International Star Trek Fan Association. I'm here to tell you about the USS Enterprise. I'm sitting in the captain's chair, basically the center of everything that happens. This is where the man in charge sits. To the right of me would be the first officer, basically the second in command of the ship. And on the other side would be the place for the medical officer or ship's counselor, basically to advise about what's going on with the crew or contact with other races and things like that.
So this set is from
Star Trek The Next Generation.
So that would have been Picard.
This would be Picard, this would be Riker,
Okay.
this would be Troy or Pulaski or Crusher, any other visitor to the ship would normally sit there. Behind me would be Lieutenant Worf. That would be the security spot. Security and sensors, all that kind of good stuff. In the front would be, this would be Data Station here, the operations station, and basically everything related to the ship's operations would happen over here. Communications, operations, and on the other side would be navigation, which is where Claire's sitting, and that's basically in charge of steering the ship, making sure it's going where it's supposed to, and the speed it's supposed to go to.
And this is Wesley Crusher.
That would be Wesley Spot, or Geordi in the first season, or various others since. This is the sick bay from Star Trek The Next Generation. In the back, we have 3 bio beds, which basically talk about the patient's vital stats. On the right side is the master patient situation monitor, which would monitor different things like central nervous system activity and cardiovascular activity, and the amount of medical coverage they had available left on the ship. These are some of the props that...
Wait, medical coverage like insurance?
If you look on the bottom there, I don't know if you can zoom in, it does say medical insurance coverage available toward the center there. So if you, you know, all those little, there are little jokes like that throughout all the panels in the ship. A lot of them have the initials of the actors or certain in-jokes about the show, producers' names, things like that. Over here would be different medical tools. You have laser scalpels, which would basically work like today's scalpel, except a lot cleaner. A hypo spray, which would work like a syringe. And you know, the medical scanners and tricorders, which would basically tell the doctor or the nurse the vital statistics of the patient.
And so this is Worf over here.
This would be Worf. He's a little svelte.
And he's the main. Is he that? He's like the.
He's actually the chief of security. I don't know why he's here, but the blue uniform would be Dr. Crusher's uniform. She was the chief medical officer on the ship.
Okay.
With her lab coat on. Unfortunately, she's headless.
Yeah.
So.
And then what species of being is on the table?
That's a Soleil, which is kind of like a lizard, like species.
Okay. So that would be similar to the reptilian species of aliens from conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
And what do we have over here? Is this where they send them out when they die?
No, this is actually main engineering, which would on the ship be about 25 decks below sickbay. This is actually called the pool table, or the master situation monitor, and basically would give information about the ship and how it works. What's going on, you know, with environmental things and the ship's engines. This is the, you know, like I said, in jokes, the infinite improbability generation button, which would basically be infinite, the possibilities. And all sorts of things, you know, like if you look at these buttons here, Gene Roddenberry, Rick Berman, Robert Justman, Herman Zimmerman, DC Fontana, all producers of the show at some point. Michael Westmore, who did the makeup. So there are little in-jokes throughout all the panels in the ship.
Yeah. And what's this area back here?
This is the rest of engineering. This would just be some terminals, and of course the warp core in the back there.
That powers the ship?
That powers the ship. That makes it go.
What? Yeah. Now, talk about the kind of propulsion systems that made these ships run. And I don't know if you can speak to what NASA and similar agencies are trying to develop today and how they're similar.
Well, this is faster than light, which is which they call warp. It's not something we're close to yet because we haven't figured out how to break those laws of relativity and things. But we have you know, on the ship. It seemed to work for them pretty well. It was really a plot device that they had to figure out when they were writing the series. How are we going to get the ship from one planet to another? Much like the transporter, which was also, how do we get people from up on the ship to down on the planet in an instant? We're actually much closer to transporter technology than we are to warp technology.
What about wormholes? Did they ever use wormholes on the show? That's a lot of talk nowadays about the possibility of wormholes.
They did. They used a lot of wormholes. You know, for different, you know, different episodes had wormholes, time travel, or, you know, wormhole to an alternate reality that was, you know, kind of like a black hole wormhole that was in the new Star Trek movie.
Well, also Deep Space Nine was centered on the use of a wormhole with the Bajoran Nebula. I mean, they put Deep Space Nine there because it was the first stable wormhole that they found. So that whole series focused on wormhole and started and ended in the very end the different species who lived inside the wormhole.
Dabo is space roulette, basically. Much like a roulette wheel, there are symbols. You'd spin the wheel, and these sensors would pick the winners. Basically, the owner of the bar that this was in Quark was famous for cheating his customers out of as much as possible. So he would frequently rig the Dabo table for the numbers that people were betting on to not come out. They would place their bets up here, you know, based on the symbol that was going to come out.
Now, would members of the USS Enterprise play this game, or is this not?
It was the Dabo table was actually on Deep Space Nine, but when the Enterprise was there, they did play it.
They would play, okay.
Yeah. It's a Ferengi game, you know, that they had done. Basically, like I said, it's space roulette.